everybody, and welcome back to Slurpathon 2020. I am your host, Sparkover. You might remember me from previous hosting blocks, such as the last one. Hi, I'm back. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, so we are getting into some sound Voltex here. But sorry, Anasaurs, I just want to thank you for all of the lovely generosity you've had. There was a lot of hype in the last block, and we were able to unlock the Sound Voltex boss song. So, again, Ari, we love you, but sometimes hurting your friends is necessary for helping the children. So with that, take it away.
All right. Sparko, if you don't mind dragging Typo into live as well. Cool. We are all good. Okay. So, I'm Sarianasaurus, and I'm going to be playing Sound Voltex for you all. Here to commentate for me is the lovely Typo Box, who happens to also be my husband. So, Typo's going to explain the game, and we're just going to take it away with a good song.
All right, so our first song here is going to be Overflow by Black Y. So for those of you who haven't seen Sound Voltex before, it is pretty similar to any other rhythm game, but it's got like one little cool twist to it. Kind of literally, actually. The kind of neat component of this one is that you've got these two little knobs here, and see those little lasers on the screen, that green guy right there? Yeah, so you actually twist the knobs to follow those lasers. And that's where a lot of the difficulty in this game comes from.
This is going to be the easiest song we will play today.
Right off the bat, though, you can see some of the different things that the lasers will do. You know, you'll see gradual movements, and you'll also see these, like, horizontal lines. We call them slams. And for those, you just kind of have to nudge the knob in the right direction. It doesn't take a lot of precision. If you're familiar with any of, especially Konami's other rhythm games, this has a very similar pass-fail mechanic too, just like 2DX. It's dependent on what your life bar is at the end of the song. On this game, it's 70% is the magic number. So unfortunately, 69% is like the least nice number you can end up at, because that means you just barely failed.
969 is also the distinction between AA and AAA, so double not nicest. Thing it does is it will shift your camera angle, and you are not allowed to change it. So if you don't like reading at this angle, good luck. And we didn't quite get the S, but we got the AAA+. That's not bad.
Pretty solid score to start with, though, for sure. So, for reference, that S would be a score that starts with 99. So just a little bit off of that, but still a really good start to the run.
Alright, so we're going to turn the heat up a little bit of a notch. So the scale of difficulty on these games goes from 1 to 20. Nobody has ever seen a 1 in their entire life. They've probably never seen a 5. If you've ever touched a rhythm game before, if you played Guitar Hero in middle school, you can probably do a 5. So I'm just starting my warm-up with some like 13s and 14s. And in the spirit of teaching us how to play this game, we're going to hang out with our good friend, Beatmaster Maxima? I think that's what his title is. And he's going to help us learn how to play Sound Voltex.
It's a little more formal. I think it's a Beat Professor Maxima.
Oh yeah, my bad. He got his PhD.
So this song's going to start out pretty normal. And then some really interesting things are going to happen. And you know what? I'm just going to keep quiet and let you guys see it happen, because you'll see some of the weird that can happen in this game.
And I picked up my right thumb there. Typical, really.
So we're gonna play a little Simon Says here.
Maxima Says.
And we're gonna get a little bit of a break from that, but don't worry, it'll be back.
And for some inexplicable reason, he is really mad that we're doing well. And we got the S.
I believe you have passed Voltex 301.
I am almost licensed to drive. But is the spaceship called Nemesis if they're Nemesis crew? I don't know, but that was a PB.
Very nice. May I jump in for a moment here?
Absolutely.
We've got a $50 donation from Dotphase and Sparkover saying, sending love right back to you and Typo, Ari. Have fun with the session. Thanks for hyping up my block just now. Love you both very much. Also, happy birthday, Sparko. I love you very much. You're amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, babe.
Aww.
You're amazing too, and I love you very much.
Happy birthday, Sparko Bear.
Did I just hear Sparko wish herself a happy birthday there?
Happy birthday, self. You're pretty cool.
Okay, so I really like Lapix. So we're gonna play this song just because I really like it. This one is pretty hard for a 14. It does a lot of the higher level stuff, albeit in more sparse densities than you might see. So be on the lookout for tricky one-handedness and general tomfoolery.
This song is a little bit different than the standard Lapix fare that we see on this game and particularly on 2DX. Yeah, we've got the vocals in here. It's just catchy is the best way to put it. This song will just sit in your head forever. One thing that you'll start noticing happening a lot as we progress into higher level stuff, and you're seeing it some in this song, is where buttons are happening while there's laser moving on the screen, so while your other hand is having to turn a knob. This song is doing it mostly easily, where the buttons are on the comfortable side for the hand you have free. We'll see some cases later where that's not true, and your hands actually have to like cross over the controller to be able to hit everything.
I took the bait.
You missed into the bait. That's actually kind of an important thing about this game, is that a lot of times charts are very ambiguous about which hand you should be hitting things with. And if you guess wrong, sometimes bad things happen and you miss notes that you shouldn't have.
We got the AAA though. That's not too bad for me on that.
Seems really good to me. I think that's better than anything we saw in warm-ups on that song.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. Pretty close. It's definitely my PB on here. So we are opening a can of peanut butter. Somebody go get me some jelly. I don't know. I'll leave now. Boo! Okie doke. So I've got one more 14 lined up. If you've ever been on my channel, you know I really, really like this song. This is Ghost Families Living in Graveyard by Rough Sketch, and Ghost Chan is definitely part of my channel artwork. I drew her myself. I love her very much. This song goes hard. This was like my personal final boss this summer, so I'm really excited to be showing you this with any degree of competence.
Pretty sure earlier this year I watched this song just like destroy Ari's soul no fewer than a dozen times. It's pretty cool to be able to see it be something that is consistent and confident for a marathon like this now. What's really cool about these rhythm games, like every little bit of progress just feels so good once you finally get there. And it can be soul destroying on the way there, but once you get it together, it feels great. And then you get to listen to awesome songs like this.
Is like way harder than you'd expect. It's like flea bass slaps. Flea as in Red Hot Chili Peppers, not like slapping a flea with a bass.
That's a lot more music in my head, though.
Held the combo through there, you love to see it. Well, PB City once again.
It's a huge PB on that.
We're going to be making a sandwich soon.
Hot dang.
Whoa, are we allowed to say that?
Gersh. Holy chalupas.
Wow. Getting kind of hungry now.
Let's not put the peanut butter on the chalupas, though. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Alright, so that's going to do it for us for the 14s, and you'll notice I'm steadily creeping us towards higher content. This helps me warm up, and it helps you get a good sense of what the charts are going to look like as they get harder, because this game is real good about layering stuff on top of you. So, my friends in the 15s that we are going to visit.
Hey, can I sneak in here with another donation?
Absolutely.
We've got $20 from Dance Dad saying, please give Ari my thanks for hosting/commentating our run of Groove Coaster. She did well then, and she'll kick even more butt on Sound Voltex. Keep on grooving all, and stay safe. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dance Dad.
Reminder, if there are any incentives you'd like that to go towards, pass it on to me in chat. We'll get that taken care of.
So, there's kind of a requisite love of cute things that comes along with Sound Voltex. Like, you have cute girls driving spaceships. You have some adorable cats we'll talk about later. And you have Coconutsu.
The best thing about this game is that it sometimes manages to make cute incredibly difficult still. A lot of other rhythm games have an issue that the charts for the cuter, not super hardcore songs will often be on the easier end of the difficulty scale. That is definitely not true at Voltex. Like, we've got multiple 20s with, like, Dimpa vocals going on, like...
And this one is, like, no exception. I have definitely had... I can't believe I still... Oh, there it goes. This knob section is way harder than it looks. And it has killed many a clear on this for me. And this is probably the first instance we've seen of one-handed FX holds.
Yeah, so here, you know, naturally, those orange buttons there, the buttons that are lower on the controller, and naturally you want to hit them with your thumbs most of the time, but when there's a laser going on and you have to hit both of them, you sometimes get to be a little creative. The palms show up.
And just hope for the best you have giant typo box hands and not tiny Ari hands.
It definitely helps.
Alright, and now we're introduced to one of the primo features of e-Amuse Cloud, which is these absurd wait times. So this is my best way to stream this game. It is unfortunately pretty poorly optimized as far as, well, any online game is concerned.
Con my quality.
Con my quality indeed. And I'll donate $5 for any instance of, like, egregious con my quality. Trust me, it'll happen.
So another very large contributor to the Sound Voltex song list is Toho remixes. I believe this is the first Toho song we're playing here. But there are a ton of them on here, to the point where they have their own separate category in the game menu if you want to find them in a hurry.
They usually have entire Toho remix contests, if I'm remembering correctly, too. But a lot of popular artists will do them, like this is Red Alice. Very prolific Delani musician, J-core stuff in general. This might have been my first 15 clear.
I believe it was. Yeah, so we're getting some really fun one-handed chords here. Yeah, so much of this game's difficulty is about just forcing you to hit buttons in uncomfortable ways, not the way that you're expecting to have to, because the context of the chart demands it. Unlike 2DX, for example, or, you know, BMS that we saw from .phase previous to this, where you can have a relatively fixed playstyle, that just doesn't fly in Voltex. You kind of have to adjust on the fly based on what the chart is doing.
Yeah, you'll notice that it was an incentive for .phase to not play on random for Sparko's birthday. And that's because random can be very, very helpful. I'm pretty sure this is another PB. To being able to accomplish certain patterns that you can't in 2DX and BMS. Meanwhile, I've never seen anybody willingly random sound Voltex.
The option is available. It hurts. Don't do it.
Typo accidentally tried it a couple of times when he was trying to clear the maximum of Lacrima, or Gravity, whichever one it was. The 20. Guys, I'm not even the best sound Voltex player in my house.
But you know what? That's okay, because we are having a great time here, and you're putting up some pretty awesome scores so far.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how we've been doing. That said, I think it's about time to move on to the 16th. I'm just double-checking my set list here. So, let's talk about Camellia. If you don't listen to Camellia, you should be listening to Camellia. Oh, no. Okay, $5 for Conmai. We'll come back to this guy.
Yeah, so this great thing that this song, that this game loves to do sometime is just decide it doesn't feel like downloading a song, and that's what we've got right now. All of the songs are streamed from Konami servers as you play, and it's erroring out.
So, we're gonna go with somebody I like approximately as much as Camellia, and that's T-Pazolite. You heard some on the Groove Coaster block. This is another one of his many fruitful contributions to the rhythm game scene.
You did not just say that.
I absolutely did.
One thing to know about Sound Voltex fans and just Bamani fans in general, puns make this community go round. It's the only language we understand.
Although some of us understand, like, very broken Japanese. This is the first 16 of the block.
Yes, this is in fact what a Sound Voltex is. We are pretty sure that they mean Vortex, but it's been this way since 2012 and they don't show any signs of changing it, so we go with it.
This is my first song I've ever gotten the 1, 2, 3 countdown with the buttons on, and I was very proud of it. Those are a lot harder than they look. That's a lot of practice and muscle memory to be able to do slams like that and hit buttons in the middle. Oh, not quite to the AAA, but 960s are definitely like my best scores on 16s right now, so I'm really pleased with that.
Hey, little baby PB there even.
Baby PB! 8 and under. You can do it, Konami. Excellent. Okay. Let's try this again. Oh no. Is it borked?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're not getting this song today. Thanks, Konami.
Oh well. It happens. We have backup songs for a reason.
Yeah, we were so confident in Konami's ability to deliver today that we stuffed some extra songs in the folder, just assuming that this was going to happen. So here we are.
I'm even on backup headset. I usually wear the pink Razer cat ears to really go for the whole Sound Voltex is full of cute stuff persona, but the driver has been dropping out, so enjoy normal headphones. And enjoy Ultimate Inflation. This song is fast.
You could say that this song has an incredibly hot BPM there at 451.
Also, there's a good number of song jackets that are banned in Korea because they are too saucy. This is definitely one of them.
One thing you'll definitely find in this game is that songs are just hard for different reasons. Some songs have really complex knob patterns, they make you think really hard about what hand you should be using to do things. Yeah, that's not this song. This song is just fast buttons. There are some knobs in it, but they are definitely not where the difficulty comes from.
No,
Although
those
that pattern right That pattern right there is a mess.
And if you're me, you forget the slams sometimes because you're so focused on how well you did on those tricky knob patterns. That part is just a mess. You just gotta go for it.
Did I mention that 451 BPM is really fast?
Whew. And then the knobs at the end to coast us out. Whew. So no PB there, but not bad score. Especially since I tend to be a little bit weaker on my button timing compared to like knobs and complex stuff. I think a different experience that I have from a lot of other players is that I didn't start out with another rhythm game. This was really my first one. So, I didn't come in with really strong button skills like, say, 2DX players. And truthfully, I think that's kind of helped me learn everything organically. I tend to be pretty good at knobs for my skill level. But I can't push the button songs too far as a result.
So, this song's kind of interesting, chart-wise. It looks really complex, but something you'll find in a lot of charts in Voltex is that if you know the song well enough, they actually make a ton of sense. There's going to be these sections, like this section right here, where there's a bunch of knob slams. And it's a lot, but at the same time, if you know the song, it's pretty clear where those knob slams are supposed to go.
Those knobs are another one where the pattern is deceptively simple. It just looks scary. So remember our good friend VMS? This song is by XI, who is another really well-known VMS composer who crossed over into Konami land.
Particularly well-known in VMS land for Freedom Dive, which I'm pretty sure I saw mentioned in chat once or twice during Dot's block. That song is on Sound Voltex, actually, but unfortunately it's not on this version. Hey, Sparko, how are we looking on time?
We are currently at 27 minutes and 59 seconds, 28 minutes. Okay, well, I'm on the microphone here. I'm just going to say that we are sitting at $5,158. We are aiming to reach 6,000, and we are here raising money for Extra Life, and all of our proceeds will go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. So anything that you are able to donate will be in support of the kids. So thank you so much for the support so far. And please, if you can, please consider donating. We still have some lovely incentives coming up for the final game as well.
Thank you, Sparko Bear. So here you'll see one of the most tragic occurrences in any rhythm game, which is I got exactly the same score as my PB. And not a single point higher.
It's hardly tragic, it just means you got a PB again.
Wowee. Alright. So, other 16s. I'm just double checking my notes here. Sorry about that, y'all. So, we talked about Jack stirring Dot's block. This song's got him. This song's got him in spades. This is by Pinarary, who is another very beloved Bamani artist. I think Everlasting Message, or is that Yo? I can't remember. I think maybe one of his songs has crossed over to 2DX, but mostly he's on like Voltex and Nostalgia.
Yeah, she referenced, so if you weren't here for Dot session a little bit ago, Jax. So that's when you have to hit the same button repeatedly, multiple times in a row. In this song's case, it's going to be several times in a row, and pretty fast. Those don't show up until about the second half of the song, but you'll know it when you see it, don't worry.
Hey, you guys ready to see?
Yeah, basically. Don't worry, we get one more shot at it here coming up, too.
This song is really determined to make you fail. Alright, we're in the home stretch.
Some players will actually play those jacks with two hands, alternating hands on the same button. But it's totally valid to do it with one as well. As you can see, it worked out pretty well for Ari here.
That's Typo's nice way of saying that. The first time it was, how the are you doing that with one hand?
Whoa!
And the answer is, my right hand. Don't try it on the left hand. Okie doke. So I think since we couldn't do Camellia, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. I cannot remember the life of me what the name of the song is in English, but this is just one of those, like... Sound Voltex is a lot of great music. This is one of those rare songs that's, like, absolutely perfect in a game full of, like, songs that really cross the spectrum between downright bad and magnificent.
It'd be nice with a downright bad. That kid with the recorder is really trying. Yes, there is seriously a song on here that most of the melody is played on a recorder. You know, those things that you have to use in elementary school and music class.
Typo has spent the better part of the day talking me out of playing it. This song is from the Unlock system called Omega Dimension. So, like, every event, usually around Konami Arcade Championship time, KAC, they will release a new chapter in it. They've since moved on to something called Hexadiver, but it's basically just, like, harder new unlocks that you have to, like, use a special life bar for and play so many rounds for.
Something interesting to note on that as well. So this home version, this is a home version that anyone can download and play on PC. It does have a subscription fee. Or either subscription or you have to buy credits for it. They give you both options. But regardless, it actually links to your profile for the full arcade version. Funny thing Konami does, though, those Omega Dimension songs, the only way to get them to play at home is if you have unlocked them in the arcade. There is no way to acquire them from the home version. Once you have them, you can play them.
bad score on that one. That's a tough song. But also just a beautiful song. Like, I don't play it because it shows anything specific or because it's, like, particularly hard or particularly easy. I just think it's a great song. And another PB. We're really getting that marathon luck, aren't we?
Dance Dad, I think you're going to run out of peanut butter there.
Okay, where are we looking at on time?
I'm guessing you probably have room for one or two more before we move into the incentive.
Okie doke. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in time real quick to the 15s. And we're gonna play a favorite from 2DX. This one's also a bit dicey with the jacks. So something important with Sound Voltex is you want to try and hit B and C, the middle two buttons, with one hand as much as possible.
That's really for two reasons. One, it makes it just easier to time those hits if you're hitting them with fingers on the same hand. Secondly, there's just a lot of chart patterns that kind of assume you're doing that, so they're assuming you're going to have a second hand free when you're hitting that particular combination.
We had our first knob tragedy of the evening there.
Yeah, something that happens very frequently in this game is if your little cursor gets off the laser, if you kind of fall off the rails there, it can be really difficult to recover from those. Especially if it's a laser that is also moving across the screen.
Hey, 2DX players, you know what's coming.
Yes, we got to chat with the sing-along there. I appreciate it.
Such a good song.
I appreciate being able to lead everybody into sing-along.
I love just trying to say the name of that song, because it'll be like, typo, I want to play da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, forget it. Hey, Jamich, if you can tell it from the key taps, that means I'm doing a decent job. Okay, so we're going to play one more and then go into the incentive. So, chat, I'm going to be real with you. I haven't cleared a whole lot of 17s, but like I said, I'm pretty decent with knobs for my skill level. So, I'm going to show you my newest toy. This is Fairy Joke by Uno from Iosis. Another Toho song. Also, strangely enough, is Rough Sketch, but sounding very different. So, if I fail this one, big F's in chat. This is a 17. It's pretty tricky.
Yeah, so this chart is something that we haven't really seen so far in the showcase, where it is just very, very laser-focused, pardon the pun, on your knob skills. There are really not very many button hits in this whole song. Where they do show up, they mostly just show up to distract you from the knobs.
Like that.
Yeah, question from chat. How the heck do you read lasers? That is a great question. And I think the best way to put it, at least my opinion, and Ari might have some different things to say on it, a lot of it just comes from playing this game a lot and kind of being able to internalize the patterns. If you are thinking when you're trying to read lasers, you're already doing it wrong.
Absolutely, that's it. Don't think, do. Don't think, feel. To quote every 2DX BGA ever.
This is actually an incredibly good run on this so far. Getting into the tricky stuff. And nice, got in there with the double A clear on the 17. That is pretty awesome.
Like I said, it's my new toy, and I really want to show it to everybody. Yep, that's a big score raise for me from my arcade score. So yeah. Yeah, on that note, let's do some horrible things to me. It's incentive time.
But it's for the kids.
For the kids.
This is for you, children.
We should probably not tell the children what we have to do to Ari to get them this money.
They'll probably laugh. Okay. So here's the deal. Boss songs come in all of the variations of the levels. But they do some funny stuff. So I'm going to show you two that I'm not the worst at. And then we're going to do something absolutely, unspeakably horrible to me.
This song also features the most important character in Sound Voltex, which about halfway through we'll get our friend on screen here.
So if you subscribe to either Typo or I, you know exactly what emote to use. Oh, we had a knob mishap there. That's not good in this.
Keeping time on this particular section is incredibly tricky.
We should be able to recover from it, but all those PBs came at a cost, and it was my ability to do that today.
Ah, there's our friend.
This is Tomaneko. I love him.
That's the ball cat, not the girl, just to clarify.
The girl is racist. She's okay, but we're here for Tama. Okay, we covered enough lost ground on everything.
Ah, where'd everything go?
Ah!
And Tomaneko has now gained planetary status and actually has some moons in orbit.
So this is one of the songs that has a 20. And like we mentioned, that is the highest difficulty in this game. So note how difficult this chart has been, and then remember there are two harder ones.
Yeah, so KAC, for those who aren't familiar with what that means, is Konami's Arcade Championships. So every year, and they have confirmed that they are going to do something for it this year, despite COVID. They've got some plans to do that safely. But every year, they invite the best of the best from their games. And on Sound Voltex, they have this tradition of unveiling a new boss song that has never been seen before by any player as the final song they have to play as the tournament.
Yeah, so last year they actually upped their ante a bit with my man, Rough Sketch, doing a song called 666, which debuted the first, like, 3D character model involved in the backdrop of the game, and she splits the lane in half. It's crazy. So, here's another boss song that's doable. I mentioned that Ghost Family was, like, my final boss of the summer. Once I got over that one, I had to go on to this monster.
Sound Voltex songs are made by a random Unicode character generator. Jamich, I think you were right on there. Probably the worst offender is Infinite Blaster.
And remember, this is rated the same as, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Death Blossom.
Those sections right there, having to hit that white note and the orange note with one hand, all while doing other things with the knobs on the other hand. That is some tricky stuff.
Not my best score on that one. I'm still kind of pushing on the 970, but... Alright, so, y'all paid for a boss song. Y'all are going to get a boss song. Like I said, we're going to do something unspeakably horrible to me. You remember how Type of Box mentioned KAC? So, every once in a while they do these neat little medleys, where they check a bunch of the new KAC songs and some boss stuff. I can't clear most 17s. For your viewing pleasure, I am going to try the 18 on this medley. And for those familiar, this ends with For Ultra players. I am not going to clear this song, just to be forewarned.
This actually starts out pretty tame, so it is a collection, a medley of all the songs that were released, or half of the songs that were released as part of the 2013 KAC event, which doesn't include just the final boss song. There's actually a whole set of songs that they do in conjunction with that. And the first several of them are very reasonable difficulty levels. You know, we've got a bunch of like 14s, 15s, 16s in there. But just wait for the end. That's all I have to say.
Yep, the knob was moving. You have to do all that one-handed.
Yeah, that's just rude. guys, this is still the easy part of the song. And by that I mean it's not easy at all, but it gets so much worse. And buckle in.
Okay. For the kids!
And if that wasn't bad enough, we've got still one of the toughest puzzle sections of the game here.
Yeah.
Just kicking you one more time while you're down.
My emotions don't feel too hot. I actually scored better that time. So yeah, like I said, we weren't clearing that. We are nowhere near. But, that's not even the hardest chart for that. So anybody who has never played this game before, who has never seen this game before, you've been warned. This is me having played for about a year now.
And playing a lot over that year, too. Like, this has been a labor of extreme love, we will say.
Love-hate.
Can we get a time check?
Why, yes, we're at about 51 minutes right now.
All right, so probably just finish it out with our last one? Or is that where you were?
One or two more, Sparko.
Okay.
Ah, definitely.
Okay. So I'm gonna do another 16 real quick, and then I'll do the last song. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Cool.
We're all enjoying this.
Alright. Back to 16s, back to stuff I can clear. So this is a gravity 16. What that means is this chart originally only had 3 charts, a novice, an advanced, and an exhaust chart when it came out, and then they added a 4th chart later. So some songs release with 4 charts, some get an extra one added in. And this is a song by the phenomenal C Show.
C-Show songs are pretty well known for having certain idiosyncrasies in their charts, we'll say. Lots of, not complex knob work, but knob work that really makes you think about what you're doing with which hand. Sections like this one where it pulls both of the lasers to the middle and then like each one peeks out to the side in sequence, it's very easy to get a little bit lost about which knob you're supposed to be turning on those. And yes, Zello, I completely agree with you. This is probably, I would personally say this may be the easiest arcade music game to get into. The difficulty at the bottom end of the curve is super generous, as Ari kind of alluded to earlier. Like 1 through 5 is basically just kind of the basic tutorial. If you've played a video game before, you can probably be clearing a 5 within a different couple of rounds. It is a great introduction to the world of rhythm games. And from there, you're already a quarter of the way through the game, right? It only goes up to 20. That's how this works, right?
Well, that was another PB on that.
That's really nice.
GG.
Okay, one last song. And, we're gonna turn down... Oh, that was a big PB.
Oh,
That was a big old PB. Breaking a little sweat over here. So, we're gonna close it out with a nice comfy song. It's my personal favorite closer for every round.
Yes, if you have ever dropped by Ari's stream, you probably know what's coming.
So this is Made in Love by Chroma. Chroma is the same artist who did I, which we played earlier. And he does all the Ball Cat songs. So this one's going to show us some Ball Cats in the background as well. And it's just a really cozy song. It's a nice one to write it out on.
This song was actually Chroma's triumphant return to Voltex. He took a good, what, I want to say, 1.5 to 2 year hiatus from submitting songs to the game. And this was the big unveil when he came back. And it's just such a beautiful song.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I feel like this song is very reminiscent of a Porter Robinson song, and that really contributes to my love of it. Especially this part right here. Aw, we lost the UC. Oh well. And there's our ball cat friend. This one's also a little bit hard to time because it's so slow.
Yeah, so you've probably seen on some of these other rhythm games, there are speed adjustments where you can change how fast the notes move. Well, unfortunately, Voltex has a multiplier cap on you can only go up to 8 times speed. And this song is slow enough that 8 times its BPM of 88 is actually slower than where most players put their speed. So it's a little bit slower than we're used to.
Yeah, I think it ends up at like 707. I usually play between 800 and 850 BPM. Which, if you're just starting out, by the way, you don't have to start playing that fast. Like, you work up to it. I was playing 500 earlier this year. So, yeah, not the most, stellar outro. I often get all of the notes on that one, but that's Made in Love, and as the song says, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure. This is my first marathon, so I've been anxious and excited to show this off, and I'm really glad that we didn't have too many my issues. And I'm really excited that we meant that incentive, and I could show you some of what more of the top end of gameplay looks like. My hope is that maybe next year, if I come back to Slurpathon and do this game again, I can show off an 18 and it won't be such a reach. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and Sparkover, if you have any, or actually, Typo, do you have anything you want to shout out before I throw it back to Sparko?
I mean, first of all, to continuing with the theme of the day, happy birthday, Sparkover.
Thank you.
We just need to make sure chat's on board there, but yes, it was an awesome showcase. I'm glad I could be here with you for it to help commentate and fill in some of the blanks. Also, one more thing for Ari, she will actually be on the GDQ Fleet Fatales Marathon here in a couple of weeks as well. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, there's more of it coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, over to you, Sparko.
All right. First off, yes, please come back to Slurpathon. I urge you to. It was lovely to have both of you here. And yeah, amazing plays tonight. Before we take off, I've got a $50 donation from Dotface saying, Ari, these PBs are massive. Shoutouts to you and Typo. Wonderful job and keep the love going. This is all for the kids. Also, the person reading this is unbelievably amazing. Heck!
Aww.
Wait, who am I kidding? Yes, you can. I love you, babe. You're amazing. So with that said, folks, we are heading to the end of Slurpathon here, which is kind of bittersweet, but it's been so amazing so far. So we are going to be having a Final Fantasy VI race between Slurpy Ninja and Omac. So let's get excited for that, everyone. Let's close out Slurpathon and this whole entire weekend. It's just been amazing. So yes, thank you, everyone. We shall be back shortly.
Thank you.